Hey, what's going on YouTube gaming community? Laggy Gamer here, coming at you with another video review, and today we're going to take a look at Monster Tale for the Nintendo DS. Yeah, Monster Tale is a game that came out that I wanted to get day one. Just from reading up on it, what it was going to be about, with this mixture of different game styles in it, is a game that I knew I wanted to get. It just seemed really interesting. Just never had a chance to go get it. You actually couldn't find it anywhere here in any of our GameStops or anything. But here recently, it's been holding its value for a while. It's been at 40 bucks, and it just dropped down to 20 bucks. That's my golden number, and you can get it used for actually $17.99. I went to buy it new, but they had a used copy there that someone just turned it in. It was like brand new, so I picked it up, $17, and it's money very well spent. This is a game that, first we'll talk about the storyline. And Monster Tale is pretty much your little girl named Ellie. You can see on the front cover there. Ellie is asleep one day, and then she just wakes up in a different land that's pretty much inhabited by other kids. But these kids have taken over this land that was previously ran by monsters. They pretty much came in the land, took it over, and are now rulers of the land over the monsters. So you meet a couple of them. They each have their own little pet monster that's their little sidekick, and all these kids are kind of snobby and have a little attitude to them. You can tell they're like when you were a kid, how you were mad at your parents, so you want to do your own thing, or you think they were the worst, and then you want to have your own little world where you can do whatever you want. Well, these kids have it. So they're pretty much in this world, and Ellie comes to it, and she doesn't know why she's there. And when you first land on getting this planet or this area, Ellie finds this bracelet that gives her the abilities to do certain moves. Further along, she finally runs into Chomp, and that's the guy you see on the front. Here's another picture of Chomp on the back. Chomp's pretty much, she has no reason why she's there. She pretty much is like, okay, Chomp, I'm going to take you. We're going to find your mom, and then I'm going to try to get out of here. But the tale, as it grows larger, they get closer, and Ellie has a whole lot more ahead of her than she thought was ever coming. Pretty much, she winds up going against these kids and trying to save the monsters and redeem their land and give it back to them. So it's actually a really good story. It kept me intrigued. It's kind of childish, you know. I mean, kids are the main characters. It's got a fantasy tone to it, but still, it doesn't take away from the charm that the game has. It's really good. Graphics-wise, the game looks beautiful. You can kind of see some screenshots here on the back. It's a gorgeous game. The art style is really good. Enemies get kind of repetitive. If there's a dragon, there will either be 3 different colors, whether they're fire-based, water-based, or earth-based. That kind of flows in with the battle system. But the enemies, there's not too much variety, but there's enough to keep you guessing with combat once in a while. But the areas, you have your different theme worlds. You might have a water theme, you might have a jungle or beach theme, you might have there's a different bunch of themes in the land. So there's always a good mix-up, and you're always traveling back and forth between each land. So graphic-wise, it actually looks really good. Got to give it to the makers of this game. Did a good job with graphics. And as far as how that blends in with gameplay, since you're traveling back and forth from one area to the other, it's pretty much an RPG action-adventure game, side-scrolling, 2D side-scrolling game. Pretty much, if you've played Metroid, it's got Metroid in it. If you've played Pokemon, it's kind of like a Pokemon game. If you played Mega Man, guess what? It's kind of like Mega Man. There's just so many moves in this game that I can't believe they were able to fit all the moves that Ellie can do onto a controller with the DS. It just seems like you have so many moves to do, yet it works perfectly with the controller. And the only downfall is Chomp, her little sidekick buddy there. Chomp helps you along with battle. See, Ellie has some moves. She has a little blaster. She can fight. She can do double jumps, dash jumps. She can do all sorts of stuff. But Chomp, you can unlock a lot of moves for him, but you can only map it to 2 buttons. So that's a little downer because you're using so many buttons for Ellie. Kind of wish you had more buttons to use for Chomp to control his moves, because they got a lot of cool stuff to unlock, but you can pretty much only map 2. If you want to use a different one, you have to push pause, go to the menu, map it out, then use a move. Kind of tedious. So you pretty much stick with the 2 favorites that you like, and you're with them throughout the game. There's really no need to switch unless you're on a boss fight that it helps you use a different type of move. And when it comes to Chomp's move, he is loaded with tons and tons of different moves. The way that's so is because when you start off the game and you find Chomp, he's like a baby Chomp, like he just came out of the egg. But pretty much he'll evolve into a teenage Chomp, and then after the teenage Chomp stage, he's an adult Chomp, which is what you see on the front. That's adult Chomp. And I believe the one on the back here, zoom in on it, that's a baby Chomp. Pretty much any move you unlock with a baby Chomp can carry over, and you can use it on an adult Chomp or the teenage Chomp. And also another ability with Chomp is he evolves throughout the age periods. When you're a baby Chomp, he's got a bunch of evolution trees where he can evolve out into either a fire form, a water form, or an earth form. And each one of these trumps the others, just like in any type of trump battle. So you can unlock these different forms of him, and they each have their own little special ability. Maybe one can have more stamina while the other one is stronger, more defense, but maybe a little bit slower. They all have different benefits to them, and they all have a different move that you can unlock. And each section I don't know how many transformations are in each tree. I know I at least unlocked 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's at least 12 forms that I had, and I'm not sure. Chomp levels, and as he levels, sometimes he unlocks new moves, or sometimes he masters an ability that he's had for a while, which helps to cost less stamina on his stamina bar to actually execute the move. And what I mean by stamina bar is you have a top screen where most of the all the battles taking place. Then you have a bottom screen where that's little Chomp's resting area. I like to call it his little playpen. After you're done using him up top, he's draining stamina while he's up there. It's not too fast and it's not too bad, but he's got to go back down to his little playpen and get energized back up. So he's resting down there. The bar charges up real quick, stamina bar. And while he's down there, you can also collect items, food, toys that help him gain experience and level. And it never really hinders the battle, because while he's not down there long resting and getting stamina, and while he is, you still have plenty in your arsenal to take down the enemies in front of you. The only bad thing is that the enemies you kill and Chomp doesn't interact with them somehow, he doesn't get any experience for it. So you want to try to keep him up there so he can get experience. Other than that though, it's really easy to level him. It's not like a total grind fest to level the characters. And I pretty much went through the whole game with just the fire-based ones. I never really had to switch to an earth or a water one, even though I wanted to, just to level it up to mess around with them and unlock certain moves. I played with them some, but I pretty much kept fire just because it was the moves I was used to. And when you're going up against enemies in the game, you'll notice that some of them are red, some are green, some are blue. And I'll let you know that, hey, I could switch to this character or do this type of move and it'll trump them and do more damage. But you don't really need to do that. You can just play through the game with one character and continue to do just as much damage, just about. I believe I played, I can't remember if there was a difficulty choice. I probably played it on normal and it was pretty fine. Boss battles weren't too bad. If you died, it's pretty much trial and error. Might take you a battle or two to get used to what the strategy will be for it, but they're not too hard at all. The in-game ones, in-game boss wasn't too bad. Died a couple times, but the trouble I had the most was actually the in-game. Pretty much I'd call it the final dungeon area. Just the save points between one area to the other were so far away. And Ellie's health, she's got a little heart meter like Zelda pretty much. And it's just hard to come by health. To get down to about 1 or 2 hearts left, enemies will drop hearts, but only up to enough to about 2. I can never refill myself past 2 unless I got to a save point that would automatically regenerate my health. And then there are some situations you get in where you're just there's a lot going on, and 2 little hearts ain't gonna do it for you, and you're gonna die. And it was kind of tedious going back from a previous save point all the way to catch up to where I was again. That's like old school style. I'm used to this new generation where you got checkpoints everywhere. But that's what made this really fun and challenging, was I was determined I was going to get through that point that was holding me back. So that was the only kind of hiccups I found in it. And the bosses were really easy, but it was still fun. There's a lot of action going on. Like I said, it's kind of like Metroid, where you have certain abilities, but if there's something blocking this area you get to, you got to get a certain ability before you can get to it. So it's back and forth, back travel. It's kind of fun finding this new move and then executing it on a new area and finally getting through that area. And it's like kind of like a Pokemon feel, because you're leveling up these different evolved forms of Chomp. I mean, he's got so many. It's kind of like having a whole arsenal of Pokemon. And as far as Mega Man, I kind of felt like Ellie was like Mega Man almost. She had the blaster gun. She could do some fighting. It's kind of side-scrolling platforming. So I got that Mega Man feel in it too. That's where I kind of got that comparison from. But overall, this was just a really fun game. Soundtrack, forgot to touch on that. Soundtrack is kind of bland. Nothing special there. Just something to keep some noise in the background through the music, but nothing that's jumping out to you. It's not like you want it on CD or anything. But it gets the job done. But as far as that, you guys, this Monster Tail is a game that you guys just got to go out and get if you haven't gotten it yet. Great story, really short. It only took me about 8 to 10 hours, I think, to beat it, and that's probably closer to the 8 side. And that was with a lot of back and forth exploring. So it's pretty fun, and I like those short games, so I can get in and out and hit up to the next game. So if that sounds like it's going to be your type of game, I really recommend you try this out. It's kind of cheap now. Get it while it is cheap, because it's been holding its value. And if you're a collector, this is when you got to get. So be sure to check it out. Monster Tail on Nintendo DS. Thanks for watching, and I guess we're lagging out. See you.